It's time for part 2. If you haven't already, make sure you watch our video covering which spring is best for you when it comes to your S550. If you've already watched that video, it's time to cover which shock is best for you. Jamie, thank you for joining us. We have a lot to cover here. First off, why would you want to pick up some aftermarket shocks, specifically our Steeda Pro Action lineup, for your S550 Mustang?
You're trying to take your car to the next level in ride, comfort, or performance handling. The factory shocks just don't quite add up to what a good set of performance aftermarket shocks will. They were intended for lasting for 100,000 miles over your average US roads and for the average US driver. But most of the people that are buying Mustangs this day and age are looking to take their car to a higher performance level than what the factory had set for the car.
Now don't get us wrong, you can throw a set of lowering springs and get some performance benefit out of that with your factory shocks and struts. But much like a cold air intake and a tune, if you want to make the most out of lowering your vehicle, that increased rate, and getting the performance feel out of what you're expecting of lowering your car, adding a set of shocks and struts is the way to go. Would you agree?
Yes, it takes your car to a higher level of performance, going to a better designed shock, more performance-oriented shock. The factory does a good job of setting them up for normal use, but like I said, most people want to take their car and do things other than just go to Walmart with it.
So with that said, let's start working our way through what's on the table here. Jamie, tell me about this particular shock setup.
This is the Steeda Active Shock. We consider this to be our comfort level package. It's a fairly soft setup. It's intended for use with your factory springs or a minimum lowering spring that's not going to drop it too far. These don't like to be used in extremes, extremely lowered or in extreme driving situations. It's not a track-oriented shock. It is for that person that wants to get the most ride and comfort out of their car.
If you intend to drive your Mustang on long road trips, go to car shows, things like that, and comfort is your #1 priority, the Pro Active shock and strut setup is perfect for you with the minimum drop spring or even your factory springs. Now let's move to the all-in-one setup, honestly one of my favorites, the non-adjustable Pro Action shocks and struts.
The non-adjustable Pro Action shocks and struts were intended for lowered cars that you're going to look for more performance. They're not an all-out race shock, but they do offer realistically the best bang for the buck for handling, ride, and all-around use. They work well with all of the springs that we provide. And they work with factory springs. They're just a good all-around shock. They do everything pretty well.
I like to call that our set it and forget it shock. When we have customers reach out and they're looking for something that, they go to the car shows, they pop their hood, they go to the Cars and Coffee, but they enjoy a spirited drive on the back roads. They do some canyon carving. They even do the occasional autocross or even the occasional HPDE and some drag racing too. It kind of fits everything. And because there's no adjustability, the valving and the tuning is already done in the shock for you. Works great with stock springs, works great with lowering springs. It is kind of the all-in-one kind of best bang for your buck.
Yeah, this is a very popular package with our progressive springs and our ultralight springs.
Now moving on to the other part of the Pro Action line, we have our adjustable Pro Action shocks and struts. Let's say you are going to those autocrosses, you are going to those HPDs, you're starting to push your car to the limit and you want more, specifically adjustability. It really isn't that daunting, but it's one of those situations where you enjoy driving your car on the street, you have that adjustability to keep it comfortable, but when you go to the drag strip, you need it to be a little bit looser up front, a little bit stiffer in the rear. You go to autocross, stiffer on all 4 corners. You have the ability to adjust these shocks to your application.
They're a really great shock for HPDE use, autocross. We've been using them for years on our cars with very good results. They work really well when paired with our dual rate springs and our progressives or ultralights. They're more track oriented because of the adjustability, than the non-adjustables.
We have a ton of hours with these adjustable pro actions on our dual rate springs. We use them all the time in our EcoBoost. We use them all the time in our HBD red car that sees tons of track time down in South Florida. The adjustable pro action shock and strut setup really is one of the best options out there if you're looking to retain your factory spring McPherson strut style suspension setup on your S550, especially when you pair it with the right spring package for your application. Now, if you're looking for more, here we have the Coilover. Jamie, tell us why someone would want to make the switch from the adjustable pro actions to our pro action Coilover.
You're looking for more flexibility out of your suspension setup. You're looking to make more spring changes. You're looking to change your ride height to suit what you're doing with your car. They work well at the drag strip. They're great for autocross and track use. It's a good all-around track strut setup. We use it on the orange EcoBoost track car. We use it on the red HPD car down in Pompano. We use it on our Silver Bullet drag car. It allows you to fine-tune your ride height and has the same simple rebound adjustment as our regular Pro Action adjustable strut.
One of the things I like the most about our Coilover offering is that it is a coilover. You have the ability to swap out those universal springs in there if you want to change your spring rate, you want to change your height, anything like that. And it pairs well with the adjustable rear ride height system that we've recently offered as well. So if you're one of those road course oriented people or drag race oriented people that want that adjustment, they want to easily swap out springs, whether it's front or rear, Coilover is a great option for you with all that adjustment available. Regardless of which shock you choose for your application, we do have a Steeda lifetime guarantee. So hit us up. Let us know if you have any questions because we want to help you get the best shock for your particular application. Hit that like and subscribe button, the notification bell, and don't forget the most important thing.
Speed matters.